All right, guys, welcome to Adapt. We are super excited to have you and super excited to help you along your journey of finding success through this company. We put together this slideshow to give you a basic understanding of how solar works and how solar works in Las Vegas. So let's get started. Okay, so the company that you guys work for is Adapt. Adapt partnered with One Solar to do our installations. The reason why we chose to partner with One Solar versus any other installation company was because of the quality of their installs and the timeline of their installs. It's nice to be, partnered with a company that is looking to get the customer installed and ready and turned on just as quickly as we are. All right, so this is the basics of solar energy and how it works. First, the sunlight hits the solar panels and generates the electric current. It's called DC. Then that DC energy gets sent down to the inverters, and the inverters are what converts that DC energy into AC energy. Then the AC energy flows from the inverter to the breaker box, and this is the box that's out on the side of their house next to where all their meters are. And that box supplies electricity to any appliance that they have in the building that is electric. If they don't use all the electricity that the solar panels produce, that electricity then flows back into the grid, and that's where we get into net metering, and we'll pull into that on the next slide here. So, net metering allows customers to use energy generated by their leased or purchased solar system to offset their monthly power bill. If a customer solar system produces more energy in a billing period than used, the excess energy will be pushed back onto the grid and used by other electric customers. This was a big deal, guys. There's been a lot of attacks against net metering, which if you go to the Las Vegas Solar part of this training course, you'll be able to watch that. But the fact that we, got net metering and we can actually pass that benefit to customers is super, super important. Over the years, it has tiered down from 95 to 88 to 81%. We have a whole net metering section that will kind of explain, more of this in detail. But the basics of net metering, every unit of energy that a customer produces but doesn't use will get sent back to the grid. And then when they actually need that electricity, they'll be able to pull from the credits that they've sent back to the grid versus actually purchasing that unit of electricity from NV Energy. So like I said, we'll get into this on another part of this training course. So it'll be the net metering part. There's 2 videos on that, and you guys will be able to check those out after this. So here's some more about net metering. Again, when you go and watch the videos that we put up for that specific section, you can refer back to this PowerPoint. This has all like the actual details of the numbers when it comes to net metering, when they're charged, what they're charged and what part of the year, they're charged with different rates. What you're looking at here is going to be a main panel on the left. Sometimes those main panels are on the outside of customers' homes. If they are and you open it up, you'll see all the switches in there just like on the left. Those switches lead to all of the electrical appliances inside of the customer's home, and they can all be turned off by that main breaker switch or the disconnect. It's called the service disconnect. So if you see this on the left on the outside of the home, then the main breaker or the service disconnect is inside with the switches. If their main panel, which is the unit on the left, is inside of the garage, then odds are on the outside of the home you're going to see the image on the right. Now if you look below that meter there, you're going to see a little flap. When you open that flap, that's going to have the service disconnect or the main breaker switch in there. It will either say 200 or 125, and that's where all of the electricity for the home can be turned off. So staying on the image on the right, if you look to the left of the meter, it looks like there's a flap there. A lot of times people mistake that for where the main breaker switches would be. They're not in there, there's a lock there, we're not supposed to go in there. If you see this whole unit on the right on the outside of the home with the one flap, odds are their main panel, which is on the left, is inside of their garage. Alright, so the ITC is the investment tax credit. There's some info here on how it works. But this is super important, and so I actually made a whole video on how it works in another section. But make sure you just read through this real quick, put the video on pause, get a basic understanding of it, and then when you watch the videos in the later part of the course, you're going to have a lot better of an understanding. This is an NV Energy utility bill. When we put in a lead, we have to have a copy of this. One, because when we submit to NV Energy, this is how they confirm, people are who they say they are. But two, this graph actually shows us how much electricity they use for the year, and we use that to build their solar proposals. So we have to know how much electricity is being used in the house to know how many solar panels to put on the roof. So that's why when we first meet with a customer, we get a copy of this. This is essential to building their proposal. If for whatever reason you cannot get a copy of this, having that NV Energy number is going to be really, really helpful, because what you could do is if you're talking to the person that's on the utility bill, if you call into NV Energy and they can verify that they are who they say they are, then NV Energy will actually give you the month-by-month kilowatt usage, and you can ask for a copy of a bill to be emailed to that customer, and then just let the customer know, hey, when you get the copy of the NV Energy bill, make sure that you screenshot that and send it to me. Or you can try to see if the NV Energy, person will send you the bill personally. A couple times I've been denied, and a couple times I've been told, yeah, go ahead. It just kind of depends on who you get on the phone, I guess. But you really want to take a look at these bills and kind of understand how they worked, see where the basic service charge is, and so that you can help educate a customer onto how their, NV Energy bill works if they ask questions. Alright, so there's three options for going solar as well. You can do a lease, a PPA, or ownership. Ownership is where you're going to get the best bang for your buck. If you don't have the taxable income and you can't own it, a PPA is going to be your next best option, and that's our secondary product. So we only push a PPA when ownership isn't an option, and we do not provide leases at all.